Gervonta Tank Davis versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz, part 2, the rematch. Looks like it's gonna happen, you guys. They're in talks right now. They're trying to get a date figured out, and all this is starting to fall into place since Devin Haney has abandoned the 135 division. Like his father said, it's getting too hot, and now he's going up to 140. So that just leaves some people trying to figure some things out. And it looks like Tank and Pitbull are gonna get it on again, and Pitbull has been campaigning for this since his loss in 2021. The first loss against Tank, which was a very close fight. Tank pulled it off, but what a lot of people don't know is Pitbull took that fight on short notice, and nobody thought it was going to be what it was. And it turned out to be an exciting fight, a very close fight. Some people even thought Pitbull had it. I'm not saying that I had Tank winning, but I think the rematch would be better than the first one. And if anybody's giving Tank a run for its money, it was definitely him. So that looks like that's going to happen. And that kind of puts like Shakur, who was Devin's mandatory. It looks like he's in talks of fighting Frank Martin now. That date hasn't been yet figured out, but that's what it looks like what's going to happen. And hopefully, after these two, because these are the top two in the division. Of course, there's a few other fighters that are there, but I don't think none of those names that I will ring off a little bit later here, that they don't deserve none of these fights that we're talking about. But if Shakur handles business with Frank, Tank handles business with Pitbull, it's possible that we will see Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson in 2024, which would probably be the biggest fight in boxing of the year for sure. But like I said, anybody else, like at 135, who's just kind of up in the air, let's X out Shakur, let's X out Tank and Pitbull, now that they're all getting matched up, in Frank Martin as well. And that leaves, let's see, Keyshawn Davis, William Cepeda, Raymond Murtala, Edwin De Los Santos, Floyd Schofield, and Abdullah Mason. And out of all those names that I just listed, I like Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason the most. But does any of those fighters, I wouldn't want to see any of those guys fighting Shakur Stevenson or Tank for sure. I don't think they're ready. I mean, Keyshawn Davis is probably the most ready, but maybe he's probably a 1 or 2 fights away from that. I would like to see him, I thought him and Frank Martin was probably going to fight next, but it looks like Shakur is going to end up taking that because, again, he's kind of just left up in the air after seeing what Devin did to the division. So, and it doesn't look like he's just going to chase him to 140. And that's if that fight happens at 140 with Devin, that is. But yeah, so the rematch, it looks like it's in the works. The dominoes are going to fall. Everything's going to fall into place. Like I said, I see Shakur fighting Frank Martin. That's what looks like that's going to happen. Tank's going to fight Pitbull. And we're going to see where that leaves other people. We're going to see what Keyshawn does after that. Abdullah, he's young. He's still got a few fights before we should even be considering him up there. And it was really, how long do you think Tank's gonna stay at 135? I mean, I am happy that he is in talks of making this fight happen. His other fights prior to this, all of them have been on pay-per-view. But I mean, his last fight was with Ryan Garcia. That was pay-per-view. Hector Garcia, pay-per-view. Rolly Romero, pay-per-view. Then in the first fight with Pitbull, and before that the Leo Santa Cruz fight, where it looked like he just almost caught a body in the ring. But those names, I mean, the Ryan Garcia, yeah, he's huge. He's got a huge following. That was his biggest payday fight, in his boxing career, fighting Ryan Garcia. But competition wise, he already knew Ryan Garcia was not on his level, and it showed in that fight. He's just, he wasn't ready. All he had was the left hand, and Tank was ready for it, and he was just super aggressive with it, and he ended up getting caught multiple times. And so I'm glad that he's taking this fight, because this fight he's gonna have to be on his toes. Pitbull's coming. He's got defense. He's got offense. So it's going to be a good fight. Definitely a good fight. And I'm glad that he's taking it. Pitbull's been chasing him for a while, but it looks like now that Tank got his money, now he's coming back for his respect. So you got to respect that from a fighter. He's not out here ducking people. He's going to make that happen. And I could talk about other people ducking, but I'm not going to make this one about him. So I'm just going to leave that at that. Tank's going to be fighting Pitbull. Look forward to that. I'm hoping they're going to end up doing that before the year ends, and then the Shakur and Tank fight will happen probably in later 2024. That's what it's looking like, how everything's just falling into place here. But other than that, make sure you go to Leo World News. Check out the new latest hip hop and sports blogs, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm out.